So welcome into the latest edition of the GVT Football Review Show. I'm your host, Goma Victor Hines, and as always, it is a pleasure having you join me on the show. And today we'll be taking a look at Tuesday night's action of the UEFA Champions League as Matchday 5 kicks off. And there were 4 groups involved, groups A through to D, and there were some teams within those groups looking to qualification to the knockout stages of this season's UEFA Champions League competition. And we'll be taking a look at the implications that the results of Tuesday night had in some of those group tables. So without wasting any more time, we're going to jump straight into today's video, and we will start off in Group A. Group A consists of Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, Lokomotiv Moscow, and Red Bull Salzburg. And the big game was Atletico Madrid hosting FC Bayern Munich. Now, Bayern Munich had already sealed qualification last week, and they were merely looking to seal and cement top spot. Now, the game ended in a 1-1 draw, which meant Atletico Madrid could not qualify for the round of 16. They needed anything but a victory to qualify to the round of 16 stages, and as we stand, they'll have to wait until the final day where they go up against Red Bull Salzburg, who defeated Lokomotiv Moscow by 2-0 and now stand 2 points behind Atletico Madrid with 4 points. Atletico have 6, while Lokomotiv Moscow have 3 points. So there's a good chance that each and every team in this group has an opportunity of qualifying for the knockout stages if all the right results and if all the right results go their way and if they do the job on the final day. So next week is going to be a pretty crucial week in Group A, but we'll start off with Atletico Madrid versus Bayern Munich. Atletico had to go out and win this game. Now, they drew first blood, Joao Felix scoring his 3rd goal of the season's UEFA Champions League competition, and things were looking good because they had to go out and win this game. Now, they went up against a Bayern Munich side that, well, they really, Hansi Flick fielded a second team, fielded a B team. The young players were the ones who had their chance of the European football competition last night on Tuesday. And the likes of Robert Lewandowski, Jerome Boateng, Manuel Neuer were all rested because the job had been done. And Hansi Flick wanted to give them a feel of European competition, wanted to give the youngsters a feel of the European competition. Now, after they got the first goal, rather than going out and trying to, go on and push on for like more goals, go and score like 2 goals, 3 goals, Diego Simeone seemed to just resign and go back to default mode. And Atletico Madrid's default mode, as we all know, is being a defensive side, trying to defend the 1-0 lead. And yes, they didn't have the likes of Luis Suarez, Diego Costa, but they had pretty attacking players in there nonetheless. You had Joao Felix, you had Yannick Carrasco, Correa came on, you had the likes of Lamaso. Atletico Madrid really should have done better, in my opinion. They should have gone and tried to push for the second goal rather than try to sit back, because yes, they are going up a Bayern Munich B side, a younger side, but these are still players who train each and every day with the senior team. These are players who are part of Bayern Munich, and so the Bayern Munich philosophy and DNA is within them. Hansi Flick, I'm sure, tells them each and every day that yes, you're not part of the senior squad just yet, but you're still a Bayern Munich player, and every time you're given the opportunity, I want you to go out there and attack, play the Bayern Munich way. So Diego Simeone and Atletico Madrid decided to go defensive, and with a Bayern Munich side that knows how to attack, then they were definitely going to have possession of the ball, and they were going to keep on asking questions. Now, yes, the game was getting on and it was getting late. Hansi Flick decided throwing some of the senior players, Serge Gnabry, Thomas Muller came in, and those were just more problems. And Diego Simeone decided to take off the likes of Joao Felix, which meant that he really wanted to defend that lead. And with Bayern Munich, with all the superstars and all the attacking prowess that they had, then eventually they were going to score. Thomas Muller, with wonderful play inside the box, managed to win himself a penalty, and he tucked it away beautifully to get the draw for Bayern Munich and most likely seal top spot. So Atletico Madrid now have to go and play Salzburg next week, and that is a must-win game for them. And well, they need 1 point as well. But Red Bull Salzburg, given the performance they put in, means that they're going to go out there and they want qualification as well. So to say it's going to be a draw, then it's a long shot. I don't really see that one being a draw, but Atletico Madrid have to go in there with the motivation that they have to replicate that. They have to replicate the performances of La Liga into the UEFA Champions League and hopefully seal qualification. And as I say, Lokomotiv Moscow lost 2-0 against Red Bull Salzburg. If they'd won that game, they would have jumped into second position and the destiny would have been in their own hands. But as we stand, it is not in their hands. Red Bull Salzburg have the better opportunity of qualifying because Lokomotiv go up against Bayern Munich next week, and well, they're going up against the best team in the world. So to say they're going to come in with a victory, that is a very long shot. But it is football. Every team has a chance over 90 minutes. So next week, Group A is going to be a pretty hectic and it's going to be a pretty big week for those teams and there for the remaining 3 teams. Group B, Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, Mönchengladbach, and Inter Milan. Now, of course, Real Madrid were the openers on Tuesday night, and they fell to a shock 2-0 loss at the hands of the Ukrainian side Shakhtar Donetsk, which means that the Ukrainian side has done the double over them this season. And well, more questions, more worry, and more dark clouds hover around the Bernabeu, and more dark clouds hover around Real Madrid and Zinedine Zidane, because they had to win this game. A victory for them in this game most likely would have sealed qualification for them into the round of 16. But as we speak, they sit third in the league in the group stage table and are level on points with Shakhtar Donetsk. However, Shakhtar Donetsk have a better goal difference than them. So this group stage, or this group as well, is going to go down it's going to go right down to the wire next week, because Borussia Mönchengladbach failed to beat Inter Milan, a team which, if they'd beaten as well, would have seen them qualify to the round of 16 stage. But we'll start off with Real Madrid, because that was the shock of Tuesday night, and that was the biggest, that was the talking point. That is the big talking point this morning. Real Madrid. And yet again, they just fell apart. They just fell apart defensively, and it's been their major Achilles heel this season. And Zinedine then just stood there and looked like, if I were in his shoes, I mean, I already talked about it in the previous video. When you send out this sort of squad, when you send out a squad that has the likes of Karim Benzema, that has the likes of Rodrigo Goes, given the fact that he's still a youngster, he's still one of the brightest sparks out there in European football. It's not a team with Luka Modric, it's not a team with Toni Kroos that has Rafael Varane, a World Cup winner. Then you expect this team to go out there and win games, to beat teams whoever they come up against. But yet again, they just fell apart. Now, they started off the game brightly in the first 20 minutes. You could see that Real Madrid actually had the chance, they had the better chances. Asensio hit the post like twice. And after that, they just fell off the cliff. Now, in the first half, Shakhtar Donetsk, they came out with the game plan of they were going to counter Real Madrid. They were going to allow Real Madrid to have most of the ball position, and when they got the chance, they were going to counter. In the first half, I mean, we saw glimpses of them counter-attacking, but really every time they tried to counter-attack, the ball just fell off. It just fell flat. And I thought to myself that, if you're going to counter-attack, then know how to do it, because many occasions they did get on the front foot, but just didn't have enough bodies forward, and they just did not test Thibaut Courtois enough. However, in the second half, it seems the manager just went in there, said the right words, motivated them, and just told them that this is how you're supposed to counter-attack. And when the second half came in, when the second half commenced, I mean, it was all Shakhtar Donetsk. They just kept on getting chance after chance. They kept on splitting the Real Madrid defense open, and this Real Madrid defense, really without Sergio Ramos, with or without Sergio Ramos. I mean, many people come out saying that, they need Sergio Ramos, but even when Sergio Ramos has been in this Real Madrid squad, they've been conceding lots of goals. So I think it's either they need a change of personnel, or they need to change something. They need to change something, because it's just not working for them right now. And I talked about it in the previous game. I believe Zinedine Zidane needs to leave. He came out after the game saying that he is not going to resign, and there's really no indication that Florentino Perez is going to come out and sack Zinedine Zidane. I'm sure that there's a story behind it, and I just don't think that there's any indication he's going to be sacked. But I just don't think Zinedine Zidane is the right man for Real Madrid at the moment. It's like they have no plan. It's like he just sends out his team out there and tells them, go express yourselves, go be the best team, go be the best players that everybody thinks that you are. And there's really no plan. It's like either they're defensive, either they're on the front foot. It's just, there's no plan at all. There's no clear plan with this Real Madrid side. And when you go out there against a team that has done their homework and is like, we're going to stick to this plan, a team with a plan, or a person with a plan, more often than none, comes out on top than the person without a plan. It doesn't matter if you're the best team in the world. If you have no plan, then it will never work. And that happened yesterday. Shakhtar Donetsk had their plan. Yes, Morales came out injured, had a few injury problems, but they managed to get the victory. And Real Madrid find themselves in a position where if they do not win their final game against Borussia Mönchengladbach, then they could find themselves in the Europa League. Now, Inter Milan defeated Borussia Mönchengladbach by 3-2. And I talked about this yesterday at the same time, saying that this team is like a team that plays off vibes. And yesterday, they were definitely in the mood. They were energetic. They were doing all the right things. The midfield was spot on. Brozovic was cutting off play, was making right tackles in the box. And Lukaku has been a sensation, has been a marvel to watch this season. Yet again, came up with 2 goals in the second half to still qualify, to at least give them a fighting chance of qualifying at least into the Europa League, or with the slightest of margins into the round of 16 stage, if they can be able to beat Shakhtar the next week, and hope that all the results of the Real Madrid game against Borussia Mönchengladbach go in their favor. And Mönchengladbach will feel hard done because they did get an equalizer. Inter Milan, let me first give the chronological order of the game. Inter Milan did manage to get the first goal before Alessandro Player, with a wonderful header, textbook header, managed to get them on level terms. Then Romelu Lukaku scored 2 goals, put them 3-1 up, and then Player yet again put them, at least cut the deficit 2-1 before he did get an equalizer with a hat-trick, but it was ruled off for one of the Borussia Mönchengladbach players obstructing the goalkeeper's side. So they would have felt hard done, but both teams, it was a sight. It was definitely a sight for sore eyes. This game was definitely one to watch, and Inter Milan managed to give themselves a fighting chance going into the final game week of the group stages of the UEFA Champions League. So just like Group A has 3 teams fighting for qualification, Group B, each and every team has a chance of being eliminated or has a chance of actually going through. So it's going to be one heck of a week next week. For Inter Milan, they have to keep this momentum going up against Shakhtar Donetsk next week. And we all know that Shakhtar Donetsk, if they can get a draw, then most likely then they can get into the Europa League or round of 16. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Then Group C, this is a group consisting of Manchester City, FC Porto, Marseille, and Olympiacos. Now we'll start off with Manchester City against FC Porto, which ended in a goalless draw. Now Manchester City had already qualified for the round of 16 last week. In this game, well, they're just merely trying to seal top spot, just as Bayern Munich. And Porto needed only 1 point, and they got that point. The goalless draw was enough for them to seal qualification. So both teams can park the bus for now and wait until February to get back onto the UEFA Champions League train. They've done the job. The job is done going to the final game week. I think it'll be a case of, who wants to seal top spot, or just a matter of pride and prestige. But both teams, job done, and now they can wait for the round of 16. Marseille got a rare 2-1 victory against Olympiacos. They had not won any game this season, the group stages, and most likely they will be going out of the Champions League heading into the final game week. They go up against, I think Marseille go up against Manchester City, while Olympiacos, well, they did get the first goal, they drew first blood, but just could not hold on to that lead and fell to a 2-1 defeat against Marseille. Now, I'm sure Olympiacos have just more than enough in their artillery to get into the Europa League. Then finally, Group D, Liverpool against Ajax. Now, Liverpool took on Ajax, while Atalanta took on FC Midtjylland. Now, prior to Tuesday night, but all 3 teams, Liverpool, Atalanta, and Ajax, were actually fighting for, to get better, to get one better over the other, and most likely get into the round of 16. Now Liverpool needed only a victory to qualify, and they got a 1-0 victory against Ajax. Now this was a game that was always going to be tight. And Jurgen Klopp decided to send out a pretty mixed team, a team with senior players and a team with young players. And we all know that they've suffered with their defensive issues, with injury issues this season. And Alisson yesterday was one of the latest players to get onto the injury list. And 3 youngsters came in for the players who left gaps within the squad due to injuries. Kelleher came in, 19-year-old young Kelleher came in for Alisson, while Nico Williams filled in that right back position since Milner got an injury against Brighton, while Curtis Jones joined in the 3-man midfield. And it was really the youngsters who got Liverpool through to the round of 16 stage. I mean, Kelleher pulled off some impressive saves. There were questions that why wasn't Adrian in the starting 11, but Jurgen Klopp, he's a manager. As I said, I read Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp is a manager who knows his players. He is a perfect player manager, and more than a team manager, he's a player manager. So he knew exactly what he was doing, sending out these players. Nico Williams, he had a tough game against Brighton, but he decided to give him a start in the UEFA Champions League, in this UEFA Champions League game against in a crucial game whereby they needed a victory to go through. And Curtis Jones has been knocking on the door of this Liverpool starting 11 or starting or first 11. And yesterday, I mean, he looked to be the sharpest of the players within that Liverpool side. You know, getting a lot of chances on goal. I mean, just progressing the ball. And as I say, it was the youngsters who got them through. Nico Williams, after that tough outing against Brighton, came in and put in a wonderful ball. Like, you could talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold's crosses. This guy must be learning from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he put in a wonderful cross. It was just way above Onana. There's no way Onana was getting that ball. And Curtis Jones always on the move. You have to be in the right position to score goals, and he was making that movement, made sure that he was following the ball, and he flicked the ball into the back of an empty net after Onana just came out and failed to grab the ball. And they got that 1-0 victory, and that was just enough for them to go out and win the game. Now, Ajax, as I said, Ajax was always going to be a team that was not afraid, that wants a bite. If they go up against the big dog, they want a bite of the game, and they hit the post on a number of occasions. They tested the goalkeeper, Kelleher, who made out wonderful saves, and Liverpool got the job done. They got the job done. Ajax now have to go next week, head toe-to-toe with Atalanta, and hope that they get the job done and are able to qualify for the round of 16. But for Liverpool, job done, never in doubt. And yet again, I think I have to praise Jurgen Klopp. I have to praise Jurgen Klopp for his player management with Nico Williams, with the faith that he puts into Kelleher. I can imagine what sort of words he must have said to him prior to the game. And of course, he's one of the best coaches in world football. And where do the best coaches belong? They belong in the UEFA Champions League. They belong in the knockout stages. They belong in a situation whereby they have a chance of winning the big prize, and that's where they are. That's where they will be in February, and that's where they'll be in 2021. So congratulations to Liverpool. Atalanta and Ajax will have to battle it out for a place in the round of 16, while Atalanta, let me first talk about the Atalanta game. I was forgetting about that game. Atalanta and Midtjylland drew 1-1, and as I said, Midtjylland are a team that have nothing to lose, so they definitely give Atalanta a scare, but they're a team that always scores. They managed to get a goal and still have a fighting chance. Now, of course, we have more games coming up to you this week. I mean, on this Wednesday. We have the likes of Manchester United taking on PSG, and I think that is the highlight game of this week's UEFA Champions League match. There we have Istanbul taking on RB Leipzig. Club Brugge take on Zenit St. Petersburg. Borussia Dortmund and Lazio looking to qualification. Ferencváros play FC Barcelona. Juventus play Dynamo. Of course, both teams have already qualified. Both Barcelona and Juventus have qualified, and next week they go up against each other in, of course, the Lionel Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo battle reignited. Sevilla take on Chelsea. Both teams have qualified, while Krasnodar take on Stade Rennes. All that and more coming up to your television screens. And I can't wait to see you in the review show. For now, thank you for tuning into the show, and I'll see you guys all pretty soon. Bye for now.